So what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, where today I wanted to do a little bit of a different video, but it's still something I'm very much interested in, and that is to learn a language. And I've been learning Spanish on and off for the past 8 years when I started learning Spanish in school when I was about the age of 15. I use a lot of apps and stuff I try to use over the past couple of years especially. I've been looking into language learning a lot, using apps like Memrise and certain other language apps, and one I also came into contact with quite a while ago was an app called Duolingo. Now, Duolingo is quite well known for the fact that it's a language learning app that you can do for completely free. There are certain things you can pay for in it, but it's actually in-game like currency. It's not something that you have to learn or something that you have to buy even to like learn any better. It's just you get like these little currency things called lingots, and if you want to buy some more of those, you can do. They can help you with certain things during like your time on Duolingo. Now, I don't think I would describe it as a game. The definition for game is actually quite vague, to be fair, when you like look at it. But when you look at something like this, I would not say it's a game. It's more of just a fun way of learning a language. And it is fun. There have been certain times when you do something in a course and you get something wrong, and it can be a little bit frustrating. That's just all part and part of doing any sort of learning, and especially within language learning. And I thought I would do a review on Duolingo because recently I have completed the Spanish course. I've got all of the courses done on Spanish, which it doesn't look like a lot, but it actually will take the average learner about 6 months to a year to actually complete all of these levels, because within each level you've got anywhere up to 10 lessons in these to actually complete. Another thing I want to say is as well, I normally use the app on the phone, but I don't have a phone recorder, and on the desktop it's actually a lot more useful to use the desktop Duolingo as opposed to the app, because you've got a lot more features on the desktop, and the app has certain features on it that are not really desirable if you're trying to learn a language. I'll get into those a little bit later on. But right now I just want to show you like the interface of it. So like I've just shown you, these are like all of the lessons on here. And you go to something like vocab 3 right at the bottom. And out of here you've got up to 10 lessons in this one. So this is an example of 10 lessons within this little section. Each lesson can take you anywhere between like 3 minutes to however long it takes you to learn it until you get like all of the things correct. And that is the exact same with everything in here. I want to start off by saying that it is something really fun. I've enjoyed it, and it has helped me sort of better my knowledge in terms of where the Spanish language is concerned. I just want to start off by saying this is a great app, and I would recommend it to people who are starting off trying to learn a language, because not just Spanish, they do all sorts of languages. Here are some that I've been learning over the past couple of years as well, like Spanish, German, Dutch, Chinese, etc. Going all the way down. I've looked into a lot of them. I've not really like started any of them. The main ones are from probably French upwards. They're the ones that I've actually bothered to actually properly look into. Chinese was just something that he recently added in, so I thought I'd take half an hour to an hour just learning it, seeing how well I can do at the language, and then I sort of just gave up. But Spanish and German are definitely the two that I want to learn the most out of all of these, and they have a lot more languages on here as well. If I remember correctly, if you go down here up to language learning, you have like this list, and it's not all of them are like ready just yet. If you look at some of them, so for instance if I go to Czech, because I know that's not a language that's fully developed just yet, and then you go to see all courses, they have all these courses. So again, you've got all these different languages that you can learn, and then right at the bottom you can see Czech. So if I click on that, it will tell you that this one's still in beta. It's almost a stable point, and when it's at a stable point, it means that basically it will be ready to be released to the public. And there are certain people who are down here, the course contributors, who are basically contributing into this little like Czech course being a thing. So there's a lot of languages on here that you can learn. Czech isn't one of them just yet. The ones that are down here are mainly the languages. So from Chinese up are the languages you can learn, and then from these languages down here are ones that are still sort of in beta. So there are still a lot of languages you can learn. But anyway, if we go back to home, you've got all of these, and basically some features that I like about Duolingo. You can have a daily streak. At the moment you can see my daily streak up there is 59. Today will be my 60th day to have a streak once I actually do my lessons for today. Up here you have the currency, which is lingots. That doesn't really get used that much within game. On the app it's actually a different like value to on the desktop, which is quite different. I don't know why they do it like that. But on the app, I've got like over 1,100. On here, I only had 354. Again, I'm not quite sure what the issue with that is. I don't know why it changes. Again, with a daily streak, I've not done any lessons for today. I've got 9 hours left to do the daily streak, otherwise I will lose my 59-day streak. And obviously it's not something I want to do. It shows you per day how many lessons you've been learning. So one lesson is equivalent to 10 XP gained. And again, if we go to here, you can change your XP so you can have it casual if you just want to do 1 lesson a day, 2 lessons a day, 3 lessons a day, which is what I do. Or if you're insane, you can do up to 5 lessons a day. Up at the top here, we have words. So we click into words. These are literally, so when you're learning a course, these are literally words that you have learnt so far. So as we go down, we have 2,091 words that I have learned in the Spanish course. As I've completed the Spanish course, this is exactly how many words are in the entire course that you will learn over your time of doing Spanish. So as we look down this list, these are literally all of the words that I've learned, or that the app has taught me anyway, over the past 61 days. I've done Spanish for quite a while. The past 59 days are the days I decided that basically I wanted to do it every single day. So there we are. We just reached to the bottom of the list, and it will tell you the word. It will tell you that it's a verb. You can click on each word and it will tell you that it means to hear, listen, or to listen to, and it will tell you over here as well to the right hand side. It'll say the strength, so I haven't learnt this word in quite a while. Again, tells you a verb, tells you what sort of skill, what lesson it's from. And then you can go down here to more details and it'll just tell you a little bit more about the word. You can even click there.
Oyen.
And it'll tell you how it's pronounced. So that's also a really good feature of this sort of game or app, I guess. And for Spanish at least, as obviously it's a language that I've put a lot of time into, every single word that's on this list, it will tell you how it's pronounced. There's no word that they don't have a sort of soundbite for. So all these words, again, they have the soundbite for, so you'll be able to listen to how these words are pronounced. Again, something I really like, because a good way to learn a language is by listening to how it's pronounced by someone who fluently speaks the language. So again, these are all the words. Again, 2,091 words. There's quite a lot of words to sort of know. Obviously, I don't know exactly every single word. I know quite a lot of them by looking through the list. But in terms of there will be words that I will just say, oh, does it mean that or this? I'll be torn up between a few words. Obviously, again, going through all of these little lessons, it takes a while to learn everything, of course. Even though you might have learned it in your short-term memory, a lot of them might not be in your long-term memory. And I can go down here, strengthen skills, and I'll basically be practicing. And that's obviously now I've completed the whole course. That's what I do every day. I practice at least 3 lessons a day. Sometimes, on Saturday, I did 8 lessons. So on Saturday, I did 8 lessons, and then the rest of the week, I didn't have time, so I did 3 lessons a day. And then, yeah, today I've yet to do anything. Over the top again, if we go to discussion, you can come over here. And again, this is only things that are on the actual desktop part of it itself. These are from other people who are in the sort of Spanish community, English learning Spanish community. And there's people who just put things up, and they can sometimes put some really useful stuff up if you're wanting to look into the language a little bit more than what Duolingo will teach you. I've seen some people put up stuff like the differences between certain words that you could get confused over in that particular language, or even good TV shows to watch in Spanish, or good podcasts to listen to in that language. Again, anything like that, there are a lot of people that will help you out with this type of thing. And once you get into it, for instance, we'll go to this one. This is actually an Italian guide, but as an example, you go onto it and they will show you these type of things. And again, if you understand any of these sort of languages, so Spanish, Italian, German, etc., you understand how the endings work. But that's not something that I'm here to explain about. But I did want to just mention that the discussion part of it is very useful. And once you click on one discussion, over on the right hand side of here, you have translation of the Italian subjunctive guide and etc. You've got all the way going down. And you could probably see one and think, oh, I want really easy subjunctive guide. So you click on that. And again, it just has everything broken down, because a lot of these people, these are the sort of people who are really interested in the language. And some of these are probably even fluent in the language you're trying to learn. So again, these guys are really useful, and it's something you probably want to look at if you do use Duolingo. At the top, you have labs. And you have a Duolingo Podcast and Duolingo Stories, Duolingo Events. The podcast is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically just Spanish people talking Spanish, and you're trying to listen out for certain words that you might know, trying to understand. And then what they'll do is they normally do like a paragraph in Spanish, then they'll do a paragraph in English, and then they try and like show you how like the words are used in a sentence, because sometimes words are used differently in sentences. Duolingo Stories, again, it's a similar type of thing as the podcast. And Duolingo Events, I'm not actually looked into, but obviously it's going to be certain events they might, things might help you out better. There is also somewhere, I'm not quite sure where it is, but like if you're a teacher, you can set up a Duolingo like school event, and you can basically like set up a little private group, and then you can give it to your children that you're teaching, and then all of them you can see like all of their progress and etc. And I've not looked too much into that because obviously I'm not a school teacher, but for that type of thing, this is actually really useful as well. So there are some of the things I like about Duolingo. There are other things as well I do like about this app, but they are the main things that I wanted to point out. Some of the things that aren't as good, I will point out right now, is the Spanish fluency, or just the fluency in general of the language you're learning. They don't have fluency in all languages, but it's mainly the European ones, so Spanish, German, I know they got it in Dutch, French. They don't have fluency in languages like Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and some of the others. But my fluency in Spanish is apparently 56%, which I would say is completely off. That's just one thing that I just don't agree with. I think my Spanish fluency is a lot lower than that. 56 is a very high percentage, and obviously they go based off of how easy, how quick, and probably other variables as well that you do each of these lessons. And obviously I've got these lessons that are golden, and these golden lessons basically mean that I've learnt them up to the max, so my my sort of skill level on those are better than the skill levels of these that are not golden. Golden, like these ones can come out of being golden, so you have to keep on top of it, and your aim, basically, if you wanted to treat it like a game, your aim is to have every single one of these as golden. Obviously, it'll take a long time, but again, if you're really interested in learning a language, then of course, like it's probably quite easy for you to get them all golden. It's just a matter of patience and just taking your time, trying your best to learn the language. Something else I really don't like about Duolingo is the fact that it lacks very much so like the ability to explain to you anything to do with grammar in the language you're learning. So you could be going through here and the basics will literally teach you like hello, please, goodbye, that sort of type of thing, and then all of a sudden you might learn somewhere like I eat, and then later on it will try and get you to just randomly, like it'll think that you know how to say you eat and they eat and we eat, and it's not the case. They need to teach you those like words better, and sometimes Duolingo will teach you that, and other times it'll just say, oh, tell me what this word means, and you won't have any way of sort of like knowing what that word means. Another thing as well, they don't really teach you much about how sentences are formed. On the dashboard or on the mobile app, either way, they don't explain to you how a sentence is formed, and if you don't know, then in other languages, they have different ways of forming their sentences to express what they're saying. So in Spanish, they have, for instance, if you were to say I have blue eyes, they would say I have the eyes blue. That's literally the word for word translation, and that's an example. That's a very simple example of like how sentences could be rearranged in different languages. Again, on Duolingo, they do not teach you anything about this, and you just learn by making mistakes. Bad thing about the app, again, which is not on the dashboard, is just something I really hate about Duolingo, doing it on the mobile, is that when you're learning, you have 5 lives, which is like sort of like making a heart, and when you make a mistake in your thing, and it could be a very simple mistake, like you know the word but you accidentally don't do it plural when it was meant to be plural, like you say duck rather than ducks, then it will basically like lose a life for you, and you only get 5 lives that you could lose. And when you lose your lives, you have to either wait 4 hours per life, or you could go to practice and then you practice your skills. It's really discouraging for a learner when you've got something like this, because I go on the mobile app quite a lot, and sometimes I just really want to get down and learn it. But my issue could be sometimes that I'm too quick or something, and I get things wrong, and all of a sudden I've lost all 5 lives. And then all of a sudden I want to learn still, but I just can't because this app is telling me that I need to wait 4 hours or I need to practice. And again, doing the practice thing at least is a good idea because you can practice 5 little sessions and then try and go again. But the issue with that is that you're going over things you already know. And that is a very good thing you need to do in languages, but you also need to go over new things in order to keep the language sort of fresh. That's my opinion on it anyway. I think on the app that Duolingo need to just get rid of the whole life system altogether. On here, on the computer, they don't have the life system, so you can get things wrong as many times as you want, and you can just embrace the things you get wrong and learn from your mistakes and carry on trying to learn from it. Because again, learning languages, a massive thing a lot of language learners will tell you is that by making mistakes, you will get better at the language. And if you're not making mistakes, you're doing something wrong. So I just find it really discouraging that they would implement something that would only give you 5 chances in a lesson to actually get wrong. Otherwise, you will fail that lesson. One thing I like about the dashboard side of things that are not really on the mobile app is achievements. And it'll just say things like maintain a 30-day streak and etc. And you see what's down here. Achievements are quite good. There's not really a lot of them. Achievements are quite good because it obviously gives you something to aim for. And then you can obviously over here change which language you got your achievements for. But other than that, I think that's everything in terms of the layout, the dashboard and everything initially that I wanted to talk about. Again, they're sort of split up, and obviously as you go through the lessons, they get more complicated. As you can see here, you got different things. So you got occupation, time, household. So of course teaching you about those particular lessons. Go up a bit again, if you go to animals or food, there again, teaching you how to say certain things within that category. So if we go to animals, for instance, and we go to strengthen, as an example, this is already golden. And then I'll go through this, I'll try my best to not make a mistake, and then it will show you roughly how the sort of interface is and show you how it is. There are certain things in here that I normally skip. So for instance, you can do reading, writing and listening. I normally skip out the speaking side of it, and sometimes I skip out the listening part, and I will be doing it for this video just because obviously I've been trying to talk. But normally I will do all sides of it because it's
arañas, animales, cangrejos.
So right there it's saying arañas, animales, cangrejos, and again my Spanish speech isn't the greatest. Something I really need to practice on. My reading in Spanish is probably the best. So it's basically at this point wanting you to click the microphone and say arañas, animales, cangrejos as best as you can in the best Spanish accent that you've got. If it was asking you to translate it, then you would say it means spiders, animals and crabs. And then you say, I can't speak now because that's something I can't do. So I can't speak now, and then it will just move on to the next one. So it'll turn on the microphone in 1 hour. Down there, it'll tell you that it means spiders, animals and crabs. Very simple.
Es un toro.
Continue again. And this one you can do...
Es un toro.
Or you can do it slower.
Es un toro.
Es un toro. Check. And I spelled it incorrectly. It's es un toro with 1 R, but it means it is a bull. So you get the idea, and there are certain different exercises as we go through.
Los toros, los caballos.
So los toros means the bulls, as los toros is plural, and then los caballos is the horses. Very simple. This is very simple, very simple stuff.
El pato come pan.
And then here again, the duck eats bread. You can press enter. And again, like I say, that this is very useful because when we look at this one, for instance, if you know that el pato and then pan, so you know el pato is the duck, and then pan, you know it bread, but you're like, oh, what does come mean again?
Come.
You can highlight it, it'll tell you how it's pronounced, so again.
Come.
And then it'll tell you there, it means that it eats, she eats, or just the word eats. So, a very simple explanation right there. Again, pato. Means duck, is also a masculine word.
Pan.
Pan means bread, loaf, or bar, and it's also a masculine word. And then over here, el is the one, or on. But in this situation, again, it means the duck eats bread. Very simple stuff.
Yo soy un pingüino.
And then here is an example of a sentence that it'll teach you, but it's probably something you're never going to ever really, never going to use. I am a penguin. Yeah. And then here is another exercise. So you've got los blank son animales, and because again, you basically this is teaching you how to point out in a sentence whether you know it's a plural or a singular word. Because los is a plural word, you also want to make sure that the word is plural as well. Again, los toros.
Sí, el animal come cerdos.
So again, there, and this is like a similar thing. So I'm going to say can't listen for now because I'm trying to talk. But it tells you down there, yes, the animals eat pigs.
Los perros, las gatas.
And then again, the dogs, the cats.
El animal come monos.
The animal eats monkeys, I believe that says. So again, like some sentences are really weird. Like I've never known an animal to eat a monkey. I've never known anyone to say I am a penguin. But
Las tortugas, los patos.
turtles or tortoises, whatever, and then the ducks. Here's another one. So it'll just tell you straight up like how to say the bull. So again, it's El Toro. We had it earlier on when I mistook it for being spelled with 2 R's. There we go. And in this one, it's like the penguins, the birds. It wants you to write it in Spanish. I think I'm actually not like great at the Spanish spelling. I think it's something like that. I might be incorrect with the I think that one is okay. So that's an example of something I got wrong. So the penguins is plural, the bird is single, and I put plural for the penguins and then I put plural for the bird. So because I put plural rather than single, again the bird, so it failed the lesson. So as an example, something as simple as that will make you fail the lesson. And if yours on your mobile app, you would also lose
Es un cangrejo.
It is a crab. And then they are pigs. I think that's right. Yep, okay. And then here, you got the bird eats crab, so you got 3 options, and then it's basically asking you which one you think, or there could be 2 options that are correct. So the bird is el pájaro. I can't really pronounce that word that great. Again, my speaking in Spanish isn't that great. Come cangrejos, I know that one's correct. This one means the bird sleeps crabs, or like as probably the best translation. And then the bird eats penguins, so the birds eat crabs, that one there. So again, if we do this, because you failed it, you know how to now say it, you realise your mistake, so it comes back to it. So los pingüinos, I'm going to do the accent because I know the U has the double dots. Los pingüinos, if I can type, and then el pájaro. There we go. So now we just completed the entire course, and I've shown you basically the basic stuff of it. I got one of them wrong. I showed you what happens there. Also, another thing, when you complete each one of these in a lesson, so I've just done this particular exercise, down at the bottom you can go to discuss, and it'll go over to, if you feel like there's something wrong with this sentence by any means, you can go over to discuss, and then people just say things like, would it not be this, would it not be that, you know, oh, I used this instead of that, why did I get it wrong? Sometimes Duolingo will make a mistake, for instance, and they'll be like, okay, we'll do this and, you know, make it better for future people who's trying to learn. Okay, so now we continue, we wait, it will complete the lesson, and it'll say, I've completed 10 XP. There we go. I completed 10 XP out of my 30, which is my daily. Down here again, you can see what I've done on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and today will be Friday. So again, this will be, that's like a third of my practice. That's like a third of my practice for today already done. We're going to continue. And again, you could strengthen up at the top, then it'll just sort of give you little bits out of all of these lessons. Or if you want a little bit better sort of like narrowing in, it will tell you each lesson. So this one, gato, gata, perros, gatos, gatas, perros, caballo. It'll tell you they're basically the main things that you learn in that lesson. So you can go to redo and that will just focus in on those, but it won't focus in on, say, some of these others that they've got in the other lessons. I've just noticed as well, I've never actually noticed before, down at the bottom it has tips and notes, so it'll say adjectives. As a general rule in Spanish, adjectives come after the noun they describe. E.g., an English dog, un perro inglés, a Spanish horse, un caballo español. So again, that's saying a dog English or a horse Spanish. So when I was saying earlier about them not really teaching you the grammar that much, that might have been something I might have missed out. However, it's still not exactly clear sometimes, like in a lot of lessons. That's something that you can easily miss out. So again, let's go over to food and we'll do another strengthening lesson. I keep on hitting the table, so I apologize if my mic's making weird noises. But select the missing word, yo something el arroz. So, you know, by the sentence, it's going to be cocino. So,
Ellas sí comen queso.
and then if you don't know, because C and C have like different meanings. So this one, as for like C can mean yes, but when it has an accent, it means I do, yes, or does, as it says right there. So in this instance, they do eat cheese. He is not vegetario or vegetaria. I can't pronounce that word. It's a word I'm never really going to use. So, but it's going to be that one there.
Té, agua, azúcar.
And before the whole vegetarian thing, it was basically asking you, was it the masculine version or the feminine version? Again. So this one is tea, water, sugar. And you don't need to worry, like, up here, they got like commas and stuff. You don't need to worry about that when you're writing it down. You could just write it without the punctuation. But again, if you wanted to write it with, you can do, and it's fine. We all eat rice. So we got like these options right here. Again, like you basically have to like pick out. So we eat rice.
Es una papa.
It is a potato.
Los vegetarianos no beben leche.
Do not drink milk.
Yo desayuno.
And yeah, you just go through and again, like I explained, there's like these few like lessons, and you can also skip at the bottom as well. So there's like a mix of probably like 5 or 6 different exercises you can do with each lesson, and it'll just throw random ones at you. The boy eats strawberries, so el niño come fresas. That one anyway. Like I say, my reading in Spanish is a lot better, so I can point out certain things. My speech isn't that great because I normally skip on the speech, because normally when I'm learning it, I'm like laid down. I don't really want to be talking it. It's a little bit lazy, obviously. If I want to advance my Spanish a bit more, I need to start talking it more, and that's something I need to improve on.
El niño come fresas.
Nosotros comemos queso.
But basically, that's how you like learn languages, I would say anyway, by pointing out where your weak points are in the language.
Él no es vegetariano.
I keep on getting put off because they're talking really loud. By pointing out where your weak spots are in the language, you can try and improve on those weak points. So like I've just said, my weak point is the fact that I don't talk it enough. I don't listen to it enough, so I'm trying to watch TV shows as well as learning on Duolingo, like stuff in Spanish, as well as trying to just listen to this properly and trying to listen out to what they say. So he is not a vegetarian. I don't know how to spell that word. Okay, again, I don't really use it. There we go.
No, yo no cocino.
No, I do not cook, I believe. Yeah.
Los niños comen pan. El té, el azúcar. Ella come pescado.
I'm just trying to get through this right now. So here is a good example. I preferred these ones because previously I was just typing in English, and it's quite easy to do that when you associate what one word means. You just write it down. You don't even think about it. Here you got to think a little bit more. So it's telling you to translate fruit, apple, orange, strawberry. So fruta, manzana, naranja, and fresh. There we go. So obviously that's getting into my memory a bit more. I'm looking at the word thinking, what does fruit mean in Spanish? And other sort of little, I don't know how to describe it, but I prefer looking at an English word, trying to translate it into Spanish. I think it gets into your brain a little bit more how exactly they work. So here, I'm a vegetarian, I do not eat chicken, so I believe it's yo soy vegetarian. I'm going to have to see how it's spelled. So if you don't know how something is spelled, then you can go like that and just write down. And then I do not eat chicken, so I do not eat chicken. And again, I get it wrong because I used the wrong version of to eat, which is fine. I basically put he does not eat chicken, I believe it is. And again, that's the last lesson I have to do. So if I get it wrong, again, I go back to it. And again, certain words like that, like vegetariana, is something that I need to like learn to spell, obviously, if I want to use it. But like I said, there's not every word I'm perfect with, but I've got quite a good understanding, and Duolingo has helped with me understanding quite a lot of my vocabulary when it comes to Spanish. So again, if we come back here, I do not, and then eat is como pollo. There we go. So we got there in the end. So once we complete this, so you get a good understanding of what is actually involved with the learning process of doing sort of the lessons of Duolingo. So now, as you can see over here, my daily goal, I've got one more lesson to do before it's the day complete. I will say this, if you're learning any language, I mean, we could do it with any of these languages. We'll go over to German and have like something different as an example. So I just swapped from Spanish to German, and you can see there's a few differences. I'm not 37% fluent in German. Again, like Spanish it was 56, in German apparently 37. If we go down to here, these lessons I've not yet learned. These are lessons I've got up to, and I've yet to learn these ones. And all the way down to the bottom, all of the ones I need to learn. So again, if you go like down here, you can see that I've like 0 out of 4, 0 out of 10 as an example. Like there's quite a lot of lessons to learn. And actually, I lied. I'm going to do one more quick. I'm going to do it in German. I'm going to strengthen my food skills in German.
Salz, bitte.
So again, you've got the German talking. Obviously, the German accent is telling you how to pronounce your words.
Zucker ist gut. Öl und Salz.
So again, just going through, trying to look at like the sentence, trying to deconstruct it into
Kaffee
English.
und Tee. Zucker schmeckt süß.
There we go. A lot of these are quite easy to learn, to be fair, in my opinion. A lot of it, sometimes you look at it and you just think like, if you know 2 of the words, you can normally make up the last one. We are eating pasta, so that'll be number 2, which is wir essen Nudeln.
Zucker ist süß.
Sometimes I type way too fast. They are drinking tea and she is drinking coffee. So it's like trying to get you to really make use of the words you've learnt so far. So they are drinking tea and she is drinking coffee. Which I think is that one there, yeah. So this one, because German you have 3 genders, so you've got masculine, feminine, neuter, and I actually don't know this one, but it's basically asking you which gender it is, and if you learn German you'll know that it's either der, die or das for the word the. So is it der Salz, die Salz or das Salz? I'm going to go with number 3, no, or number 2 even, which, oh, actually, okay. I wasn't actually 100% sure, but I was, das is the neuter, the neutral gender in, and I'm pretty sure D is feminine and der is masculine for German. Okay, so again, das Salz, das Salz, yeah, it was das, wasn't it? There we go. Spelled it wrong. It needs to be capital S. All nouns in German are capitalized, so it tells you right there. It gives you some basic hints and basic tips and stuff, but So again here, Kaffee und Tee.
Ich trinke Bier.
I drink beer. So Saz, bitter. So sugar tastes sweet is I'm not confident about that word. I know it's schmeckt. Schmeckt. Is it K? Schmeckt. Zucker schmeckt süß. There we go. And like that, now I've completed all 3 lessons of the day, which is what I also wanted to show you, because it says there, are you up for a challenge? Maintain your streak for 7 days and we'll double your 5 lingot wager. So you basically can wager those lingots, which are, you can wager those which are like the in-game currency. And of course, if you wager 5, you can get 10 back and stuff, and it's very simple stuff. I strengthened that one in German, so now it's a gold rather than not gold. And again, if we go into words in German, I've learned so far 423 words in German, and again, it has all these words down here, and it works the exact same as how I showed you earlier in terms of the Spanish one that I was showing you. Over on the side here, it'll say 30 out of 30 XP gold met, so that means 60-day streak, which is up here, and it's got a tick next to the fire, which means you've done for today's streak. Some of the things I want to just put out there, if you're still watching, of course, if you're learning any sort of language with Duolingo, I would highly recommend to do or use different resources other than just Duolingo. I think that goes for anything. A good way to learn the language is by looking at different sources. Don't just use Duolingo. Don't just use Memrise. Don't just use like your books that you have. So as an example, I've got these books here. So I've got a Spanish book right there. I don't know if it's in camera, and I've got a German book there as well. And I've also got another Spanish book just there as well. So as an example right there, try and learn from books. Go on to Audible and listen to, I listen to Michel Thomas. He does his like Spanish course. He also does like Spanish, Italian, German, I don't know. There's another couple of languages he does, but he teaches people, or he used to before he passed away, but he taught people how to learn a language via just speaking it, and he has his own certain methods, and he has certain ways of explaining things that makes quite a lot of sense. I'm only halfway through his Spanish one, and it's only like the beginner Spanish, I think, but I'm only halfway through because it does cost money to listen to those, because obviously they're being sold. The full German one is actually found on YouTube for free though, so if you type in Michel Thomas full German course, whatever, it's about 7 hours long. If you listen to that, you get an idea of how he teaches his pupils. Some people prefer his methods, some people don't. It's just down to personal preference. So again, books, listen to Audible. If you don't have books in real life, you can also get Kindle, which is something I also have. Go on Kindle, you can read books. Again, you can read like child books or more advanced books depending on what your level in that language is. You can talk to people in that language, etc, etc. The list goes on and on. I would recommend highly to do Duolingo as well as other things. Don't do just one thing, basically. Don't just do Duolingo, because you won't understand certain things. And my issue at the moment with Spanish, even though I've completed the entire course, is my sentence structure in Spanish still isn't that great. I can't learn sentence structure well on Duolingo, and I know a lot of words individually, but when it comes to putting sentences together, I take quite a while to try and put sentences together. But like I say, when I'm on this app, I can just look at the sentence and I can translate it for the most part. I can look at an English sentence to Spanish or Spanish to English on this app, because I've done these sentences quite a few times. But when it comes to recalling those sentences or trying to just make a sentence up that has not been on this app, it takes me a while to try and think whether that was like the structure I put that sentence in is correct. So my sentence isn't that great, my grammar again isn't that great, because this app hasn't taught me those. It has, however, taught me just standard vocabulary for, again, just over 2,000 words. It's taught me that, which has been very useful, and just certain other things as well. And like I say, you can do this for a lot of languages. I just chose Spanish and German as an example to show you guys how exactly it works. And with that, I think that is almost everything I can possibly say about Duolingo. My thoughts is that obviously I'm going to carry on using it. I've been doing it now constantly for the past 60 days. I'll carry on my best trying to do so. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead, leave it a like rating, comment down below what sort of methods you use if you sort of learn languages yourself. Subscribe to the channel if you like this, although I would recommend watching my other content before you subscribe, because I normally don't do this type of videos. I normally do gaming, so I normally do Call of Duty Zombies. At the moment I got into Fortnite as well. But occasionally I will just do videos out of the blue like this, which sort of like interest me into doing other things in my life, because I don't want my channel to be purely gaming. I want it to be whatever I want to put up on my channel, and this is something I was really passionate about. Duolingo is something that I've put a lot of time and effort into. I wanted to give it a bit of a review, show you guys how exactly it works, what my thoughts and opinions are on it, and then obviously to show you guys if you're interested in learning a language, maybe you can go for Duolingo and like hopefully learn a language yourself. But thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.